This Sunday we celebrate World Day of Prayer for Vocations. And in the Diocese of Scranton, at least, we've asked our deacons and priests to consider in their homilies telling the story of their own vocation or reflecting on God's call in our lives. No two people have the same vocation story. All of them are a little bit different. Some dramatic, some exciting. I know Father Brian Clark, one of our assistant vocation directors, always says that he feels bad sharing his story because it's boring. But figuring out what God is calling us to be generally doesn't feel boring. In fact, sometimes it can feel a little bit stressful. I didn't personally feel called to be a priest from a particularly young age. Father Andy Karofsky, who will celebrate Mass alongside the bishop Sunday evening, was my pastor, and I certainly always had a positive view of priests and a great relationship with my parish and my church. But for me, one of the big turning points came when I was in college. I remember coming home for some fall break or something and going to the hospital because one of my friend's mothers was sick. While I was in the waiting room, his minister, he wasn't Catholic, came in and asked me what I wanted to do with my life. And I said that I was considering the Catholic priesthood, which is kind of a strange and unexpected answer. Throughout the rest of my time in college, I connected with the vocation director for the Diocese of Richmond, where I was, and would keep in touch with other men discerning the call to the priesthood. In fact, I believe there were 6 men that I was in college with who are priests today, and several more who entered seminary and eventually discerned that wasn't their calling. Towards the end of my time in college, after I graduated, I lived in Philadelphia for a summer. And there I would go every day for daily Mass and pray at the shrine of St. John Newman. That was a powerful time for me. Started going to confession more frequently, started praying the rosary, started really earnestly trying to listen to where God was leading me. I thank St. John Newman every day for his role in that discernment, and I think intercessory prayer can be so helpful for us. Eventually, after graduating college, I sent in an application to the Diocese of Scranton and began my time as a seminarian. Of course, the story doesn't end there. Really, up until your 3rd year of seminary, you're called to actively discern if that's where God is calling you. And even as a priest, every day you have to wake up and listen to his voice in your heart. There's nothing exceptional about my vocation story, except that it's mine. Except that it's part of that life-changing relationship I've been able to form with Jesus Christ. As we celebrate World Day of Prayer for Vocations, I'd like to invite everyone to go back throughout your life and listen and think and pray about where God may have been pushing you in every moment. Oftentimes, we don't realize the importance of things until years after they happened. But I ask you not just to reflect on where God has called you in the past, but to pray about where he might be calling you in the future. What gifts you might have to offer for God's use, for the good of the church and the world. To pray about what you're willing to do, how you can see yourself serving. A vocation isn't something that should stress us out or keep us awake at night. It can be a beautiful part of the story of our relationship with God, of us playing our part in his work of salvation. Happy World Day of Prayer for Vocations.